Hello everyone, I am Taureor, and in this video I'm going to show you all the new robot types that are available in Stellaris Synthetic Dawn DLC/story pack. Stellaris, of course, is a grand strategy game in space by Paradox, and it's getting a new expansion with machine intelligence. You can play as robots. So, yeah, I've prepared some, but let me just show you. There are 4 basic types of robots you can play. Basically, the mechanics are you play as a hive mind of robots, and the rest pretty much plays the same, although the traits are much different. Well, the effects of the traits are similar, however the traits themselves, well, they differ a little bit. Also, there has been some general rebalancing to the game itself, which will, well, it will change the game a bit, but Paradox is always adjusting their games. So, what are those basic robot types I'm talking about? Well, that depends on the civics that you choose, because if you're doing a robot civilization, you basically have to do Gestalt consciousness. It's basically a hive mind, but with robots. You get more core sector systems and more monthly influence. And as always, you get 2 civic picks at the beginning. You can go with the basic robots, which you just play just like a normal hive mind, but with robots. Or you can go with one of 3 special types. We have rogue servitors, we have, driven assimilators, and determined exterminators. Let's start with determined exterminators. As you can see from this little description here, the determined exterminators are basically fanatical purifiers, or the same as the hive mind type that just eats everything. Devouring swarm, I think. So they purge organics always, and they get extra unity from that. And their weapons are stronger, but they cannot do diplomacy. This is pretty self-explanatory, and introduces no revolutionary new mechanics, because getting unity from purging pops, we've already seen that with the hive mind. But the other 2 types are quite more developed and interesting. I'm not saying this isn't developed, although just kill all humans might be fun from the gameplay perspective, although it doesn't offer that many options as the others do. Now, driven assimilators are basically the Borg from Star Trek. They take organic pops that they conquer or something, and or maybe assimilate in other ways, and then they turn them into cyborgs. I found this type of civilization to be quite efficient, because you could have tons and tons of different cyborgs with different traits. For example, some that have buffs to leaders. Then you could recruit leaders from those cyborgs, and you can colonize all the planets because you're robots, and you can take over all the other planets apart from hive minds because you're robots. Yeah, I don't think you can assimilate hive minds, although I'm not sure. Maybe you can. Haven't tried that, actually. Maybe I should have. Yeah, basically, you can turn them into cyborgs, or you can purge the other pops. So you're basically the Borg. And finally, the 3rd unique type is the rogue servitor. These are basically robots that help humans or other sentient organics live nice lives. You set, they become biotrophies. They don't work, they just generate unity. And if you have enough of them, well, you pamper them, which costs you a lot of minerals. They have mandatory pampering, which costs quite a lot. They are very happy, though. And then you generate extra resources and extra unity, because your robots are happy that they're serving organics as their directives tell them to. Which leads to some pretty interesting combinations you can do. Alright, let's have a look at those. Some other traits include, the regular buffs to all other types. Edicts, research speed, this is interesting. Introspective, better engineering research. I would probably go with something that would increase, built to last reduces consumer goods could be quite helpful with the rogue servitors. But generally I'd go for a game for myself. I'd probably go with the Assimilators, because playing as the Borg is always fine. Although I probably shouldn't be saying it's the Borg, because it's not the Borg, they just operate on on the same principle, pretty much. And anything that gives you influence or unity is probably good. Okay, I have prepared 2 save games that have these test games that show what this is, what these new things are. So first, Assimilators. Let's have a look at the Assimilators. This is a cheated game, so I used console commands and all that. This is why these values don't make sense, and I have all technologies and all that. Well, I just want to show you the mechanics. So, this is our guy. One thing we should mention about the robots, about being mechanical, we should probably go into the species zone. See, these are our cyborgs. They are actually better than our basic robots in many things. They don't reproduce on their own, but, for example, machines have higher leader recruitment cost. And cyborgs don't. Although those leaders are mortal, so, you know, and pure machine leaders are immortal. So you can choose what you prefer. Yeah, you can... I find this to be quite useful. Efficient processors, robot upkeep decrease. Quite useful indeed. Alright, now you will notice that we have those cyborgs from the beginning of the game. Well, if you play it. Yeah, I've researched all technologies, don't pay attention to the upgrades. And you can actually decide what your cyborg, what traits your cyborg has. And as for pops, your cyborgs won't reproduce, but you can build... yeah, this shouldn't be available. I just used the cheat to get all technologies. So, regular synthetics shouldn't be available for you. Now, you can build your pops for minerals. The cost depends on your traits and technologies, I believe. And yeah, you can just build your pops. Build how many you need. As for assimilation, I have prepared a little scenario in which I will show you assimilation. We have a fleet here, with some battleships which won't be necessary, actually, and some invasion armies that actually feature... doesn't really show anything here. Hyperion behemoths, which is probably like the Warhammer Titan or something. Okay, anyway, let's land on the planet of those primitives, shall we? So you... land armies. And unpause. I'm over the fleet limit and so on, so the resources are not going to be too great. We have, of course, won the battle against the space station, and now we're landing our troops. You'll notice we're using Hyperion Behemoth's Mega Warforms, and we have subjugated the primitives. Now, when you have a look at them, you'll see that they're getting assimilated. And I think from 1 to 3 pops will be assimilated every year you're on the planet. And they will become new cyborgs. Go to species. Let's unpause this and go to the fastest speed. I'll show you the assimilation itself. Industrious and tropical preference. Okay, cool. Set rights. Citizenship. We can assimilate them, or we can set them to be killed off. The rest isn't, you know... The rest isn't... Oh, actually, can I turn off population control on you? Nope, you can't disable population control on cyborgs, apparently. But you can disable population control on the people that are being assimilated. So maybe we'll get another pop while they're getting assimilated. And as you can see, the first pop has been assimilated already. Let's have a look at the planet. Here it is, the one... Oh, there's more of you. 3 already, that was quick. The ones without happiness. They have become cybernetic. Increased ability, increased lifespan, and army damage. And we just conquered this planet. We don't need to resettle any pops to it. And we don't need to care about happiness of the conquered people. We're basically a hive mind on steroids because, well, we don't eat the enemy, but we kind of do. We make them part of our collective. And I think this is a pretty efficient way to do this. And I think I'll be playing a solo game of Assimilators, because it's pretty fun to invade all the enemy territories and not worry about anything, just assimilate everyone. And if you're missing population, you can just build robots wherever you want. Now let's have a look at the rogue servitors. I will not be showing you the exterminators because there's really nothing special about them. They just kill people. They're basically a robot hive mind that kills people. So they act as they act just like these guys, but without the assimilation and without the cyborgs at the beginning. Okay, now, well, there's some cool flavor text and events for each of those types. So yeah, there's that as well. Now, servitors. Here you go, our Proteus Omni servitors. You can actually modify the species you are serving as well at the start of the game. So our basic species, I have modified them to have high habitability, be nomadic, so we can transport them to other planets we colonize, to consume less consumer goods because mandatory pampering increases consumer goods cost, slow learners because we want to recruit leaders from them anyway, and deviants because they don't have ethics anyway because they are just bio trophies. And what does that mean? Well, that means they consume a ton of minerals, which is why I did the conservationalist thing, so that they would consume less. And as you can see, they're producing Unity. Now, I have pretty advanced, you know, I've done all the Unity bits and built some megastructures and all that. Oh, also, I should probably mention that the traditions are different for robots. You'll be quite pleased to say this is all, let's say, compatible with the fact that you're playing machines. Also, there are some new things here, like synthetic age, machine modification points, because you can modify yourself. And you can build machine worlds as well. You can terraform to machine worlds. Just go here, if you have the proper technologies, so on, and you terraform into a machine world. Now, a machine world has a bonus to resources. If I have a look here, but it cannot support organics. Machine worlds, here you see that. Machine worlds are a special planet class that is uninhabitable for organics. Machine pops living on machine worlds have their resource output increased by 15%. So that is pretty efficient, I'd say. As for the biotrophies, they have a significant impact on our society of robots. Basically, they only generate Unity, but the basic Unity output here is just 1. I have 3 from each of those pops, because I have all the nice stuff completed. But if we go to species, and have a look at the rights. See, citizenship is biotrophy, which means I have to do... Oh, I can do chemical bliss, really? Can I? No? I think this is said that they will consume the set amount of consumer goods, whatever you do. So consumer, yeah, so that there's no, well, they'll just generate less Unity. So yeah, just stick with mandatory pampering this. I'm not sure if this should appear here. Maybe it's because I research all the technologies by console command. So, they have, well, let's get back to those rights. Living standards, mandatory pampering, tons of happiness, tons of consumer goods cost, and also resettlement cost is reduced. Now, with the fact that I have also given them nomadic, I can resettle them almost for free. Now, what do they give me? Why would I want such useless guys in my empire? Well, there's the servitor morale thing. Each 10% of them in our population gives us a scalable bonus. So, for example, for 10% you get half of a point of monthly influence and 10% robot resource production. And if you have 40% of them, which is the cap, you get +2 monthly influence and +40% robot resource production. Now, how can we use this? You can optimize your empire. It is quite a lot of micromanagement and work to do it properly, but for example, I could choose shittier tiles and put these on them, the shitty tiles, which will in turn increase the production on the good resource and building tiles that I will put my robots in. Also, I will get Unity from them. as well. That being said, you must make your own choice of how many of those you want and how profitable that will be to you. So for example, with our morale at average, we have plus 20% resource production. So this power plant produces plus 20%, and this mineral plant produces plus 20%. Now, what happens if we conquer more organics? I have prepared to do just that. Well, we have someone closer, but these are hive mind. These are a hive mind, and if you conquer a hive mind like this, you'll just you'll just have to purge them because you can't pamper the drones of a hive mind. So I have prepared a fleet with some Hyperion behemoth warforms, and we're going to invade this peaceful kingdom of hegemonic imperialists and steal their planet. Here you go. Let's set you on aggressive and increase the speed a bit. Maybe I won't need to invade the planet. I should surrender almost immediately. Okay, Admiral gained trait. Maybe they'll surrender when I blockade their planet. Not yet. Okay, let's land our warforms on their planet. Don't even need to bombard it fully because, warforms. Invasion over. We have taken them over. They will surrender now. Let's wait for them to surrender. They have surrendered. And this is now our planet. Now, what happens now? Basically, they are also organics, so they also must be pampered. Mandatory pampering and biotrophy are assigned to them as well, and they are introduced into our empire as those, that generate unity for us only. Now remember that unity generation, you should probably, you see they move these organic paradise buildings with them. These should be assigned to the worst tiles that you have, and the real work will fall to the robots. And with so many new pops just introduced into our society, you'll see that our servitor morale has jumped to maximum. So we have extra influence and robot resource production plus 40%. Now, this is probably not going to be my favorite type of robots to play because I don't like micromanagement, and it is most efficient with micromanagement. I wonder how the sector AI will distribute those organics. Still, it can be used to create quite a powerful empire because, see, this robot is getting plus 40% production. And if we upgrade the building, I should enable instant building. If we upgrade all the buildings, I don't even have a grid or a mineral processing plant on this planet. See, if I build a mineral processing plant too, and an energy grid, just look at the numbers here. And those are not... This isn't a Betharian power plant, but it acts almost as though it was. So they can be very, very efficient. But you will notice that you cannot assign these pops to work normal jobs, even to be intellectuals. Although, I think... Can you? I don't think you can. I think you should be able to assign them to be intellectuals. They could pursue that as a hobby. But, yeah, okay. Not this time. Anyway... That is how the rogue servitors play, and you can engage in normal diplomacy. And they don't hate us. We are willing servants, which increases, right, their opinion of us. Let's look at, this is a devouring swarm, and I haven't discovered anyone else yet. Anyway... This is how the rogue servitors play. So expect quite a lot of micromanagement, but I can also resettle them for next to no cost. See, 5 influence to resettle the guy. And the percentage is calculated across the empire. So you can just pick up, get a Gaia world and stash all of them there. And turn your other planets into machine worlds so that they will be even more efficient. For example, I could just stash all of these guys on this planet here. Well, we have one pop growing. I'm not sure what will happen to it. Will it stop? Will it stop? Will it disappear? Yes, it disappeared. So now I could just terraform this into a machine world if I had the energy. Oh, let's get the energy. Wait a minute. Here it is. Let's terraform this into a machine world. Now, I'm not sure... yeah, instant build doesn't work on terraforming. Does it count as a special project? No, I don't think so. I don't remember the command for finishing special projects. Something like that? No? Never mind, I don't remember it. But you do know the machine worlds from you know, what the game used to be, from previous versions of the game, because the machine worlds did exist there, but only the AI, the robot uprising, the AI rebellion, machine uprising, one of these names is correct, had them. Speaking of the machine uprising, you can actually, with this synthetic story pack, when you're playing an organic civilization, you can make the synthetics rise up against you, and then, in the event, you can either fight them, or you can become them, and take the, you know, become the synthetic rebellion. Then you just become a synthetic civilization, a robotic civilization, and take over your former masters. Which is pretty neat, I think. It certainly makes the robot rebellion much more interesting. Anyway, those are the special robot types. Also, you can have just generic machine civilization without any of these special feats, although I'm not sure why you would, because these are quite great. And also we can have the exterminators, which can be very fun to roleplay, and you know, they are certainly fitting with many of the science fiction tropes that we've seen before, so we might want to play as them. But in terms of game mechanics, I don't think they offer that much of an advantage. I think the most powerful will be the Assimilators. And as for the rogue servitors, they are certainly quite strong, but with all the potential, you know, to produce vast amounts of resources. But they also have quite a lot of population that doesn't do anything, which might slow down their tech growth, because the technology cost also depends on population. And that is a lot of semi-useless population. On the other hand, you will be getting a ton of unity as the rogue servitors, and you can, you know, you can pass a lot of unity buffs, the traditions. So, yeah, that's something to balance, but main argument against playing as rogue servitors for me is probably that it requires a lot of micromanagement to play with them, or rather to play with them effectively. Still, it does have potential, and I wonder how well the sector AI would deal with them. How well sector AI would deal with them. And if there's just too many of them, you can just enable population control. So, yeah, and build more robots. The perfect ratio is 60% robots, 40% organics. But as you can see, the organics will only produce unity. Nothing else. Okay, that's about it for the robot types. I hope you are enjoying this video and that you will enjoy the new story pack for Stellaris. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.